Hello, everyone. Welcome to another. Welcome to another understanding Scripture. This episode, we're going to be talking about 2 Corinthians 13:5. First of all, I want to say this. I really hope these are helping you. Understanding Scripture is a very, very big thing in reading the Bible, and because if you don't understand the Scripture, you can't put it into your life, and you can't understand it, especially when it comes up in apologetics or defending your faith. So I thought we could just, do a complete series on this. I'm going to read you it first, okay? 2 Corinthians 13:5. Example yourselves, whether you be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know you're not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. Another way of saying this is examine yourselves. The King James has sometimes the King James wording can be kind of difficult to understand because of some modern translation, the word example, the very first word in the verse says example. In another translations like the ESV and the NASB, it has the word examine yourselves. A lot of people would bring up this verse to say oh, are you not a Christian or not? I could see that. That's definitely a way that we can use it, but I see it as more of a way of examining ourselves, seeing if we are actually doing what we're told. The Bible has very clearly told us that we should obey Jesus. We should obey His commands. I believe in the transfiguration of Christ, and I think in the Gospels that God, the Father, literally shows in a cloud, and He says, "This is listen to my Son, listen to Him." So God Himself is even telling us to obey Christ, and so yes, so we know that this is a very big thing that we have to do. So we should examine ourselves, not because we should, but we obviously should, but we need to. We need to examine ourselves. We need to see ourselves for who we really are. And a very good place for you guys to go to if you're really in this type of place, go to 1 John. And just go to 1 John and see if you are actually listening to 1 John, because that's a very good place to go to. And John's writing is amazing. His writing is so loving, while Apostle Paul's writings are just very intelligent, if you would say, because Paul was basically the mind of the apostles, really, and John and Peter were really loving because they were right there when Jesus was actually teaching, and when he was healing people of all types of illnesses, casting out devils, a bunch of stuff. So yes. So he says right here, example yourselves, whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. So prove yourselves that you are in the faith. Know ye not your own selves, how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. We see this right here, that's saying that know this, that you're not your own selves. You are Christ. Okay, and not just that, it's that Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. Now, you may have heard the word reprobate before, and it comes from Romans 1:28. It says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things that are which are not convenient. And verse 29 says, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, which are people who break promises, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful. All these things. A reprobate is someone who has a non-functional mind, someone who can't understand heavenly, eternal things, and God gives them over to these things. God basically rejects them to these things because they have denied Jesus. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, no believer can be given over to a reprobate mind, because they have been. If you were truly born again, you have a new creation, and that new creation can't be taken away from you. If you say that Christians become reprobates, you're basically preaching and teaching that you can lose your salvation, and that is just not right. So yes, this is right here. We need to examine ourselves. We need to examine. We need to prove that we are in the faith. And Apostle Paul is actually asking the Corinthians, are you? The only reason, only how, if we are not in the faith, he's saying here, know ye not your own selves, that how that Jesus Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. So, we have to understand this, is that we need to examine ourselves. We have to prove ourselves we're in the faith. We have to look at ourselves and make sure that we are in the faith and that we are actually doing what God has told us to do here. And it's obviously that He has told us a lot, but there's one thing, the most important thing He's told us to do is to obey His Son. And that's very, very important, because when it comes down to obedience, it does something for us. First, it puts a big smile on God's face. Two, it pleases Him. And Apostle Paul he said throughout his entire letters that his life is to please God. His life is to fulfill his ministry, to fulfill his purpose. And you can go to, I think it's Acts 20:24, I believe. I'm not really sure. But then he tells us what his main purpose in life is. But here's the thing about this verse. A lot of people try to use this as a way to say, like, oh, if you don't have this, then you're not a Christian. And that's definitely a way that you can use it, but I most likely use it for Christians, especially people who don't know if they're in the faith, meaning, am I a Christian? And it's definitely for these Christians that believe that I can go to heaven even though I'm a sinner. And I know that everyone sins, everyone falls short. We're never going to be perfect we're never going to be perfect in this earth until we get to heaven, until we're in our glorified bodies with Christ. That's the only time. But yeah, this verse is very, very outspoken. It can be used for tons of different reasons. And from my intelligence only, from my knowledge, I think it's only been taken two ways, which is seeing if you are actually a Christian, or two, you can examine yourself to see if you're actually in the faith. Prove to yourself that you're in the faith. So yeah, this is what this verse talks about. It's a very, very important verse to go about, because Paul really, in Corinthians, he says a lot of wise things in Corinthians, especially in First and Second Corinthians. He shows a lot of wisdom, and he's kind of like, Paul is kind of the Proverbs of the New Testament. He's basically Solomon of the New Testament. Very, 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 very intelligent, smart, wise. So yeah. Anyways, guys, this is going to be, I don't know which one. I think it's like the 6th, 7th one. I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to figure it out. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this Understanding Scripture. It's a very, very good series, and I hope that my channel eventually starts to grow. And if it doesn't, it doesn't, but I'm still going to do this because I love doing this. So yeah, and it's going to help me on my ministry. But I wanted anyone, if you are watching this, please, if you have any scriptures that you don't understand, please tell me, and just tell me in the comments. So yeah, but yeah, I just hope you guys enjoy this one, and if you enjoy the passion that I have for the faith that is in Christianity, if you like the passion for Christ, for the Bible, and just for Christianity in general, please consider subscribing. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, you want to share that if you agree or don't agree with me, or whichever way you see 2 Corinthians 13:5, please feel free to put it down in the comments. But that being said, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys later. All right, God bless you.